Do you get haters? Do you get trolls? How you can deal with haters in a very simple way. That's what you're going to be learning in this video. So before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell icon just to make sure you get notified whenever I post. But other than that, let's dive right into how to deal with any haters that come into your life. So there's going to be some reasons why haters hate. And potatoes potato. But seriously, the reason people hate is there's one, they're going to be jealous of you because they're not doing what you're doing. Two, they just don't like you. Or three, they don't agree with what you do. And at the end of the day, they are all just opinions. They are not necessarily facts. Now, the reasons and what we can do in order to overcome people that do hate is, the first thing is say, are they actually telling the truth? And this is where we have to be honest and real with ourselves. And sometimes they may be telling the truth. Sometimes we have to admit that we're wrong. Sometimes we have to do this. Not all the time, because sometimes they are just being jealous. Sometimes they are just hating on you. Sometimes they are trying to drag people down because they didn't achieve what they wanted to achieve. So they feel like other people shouldn't achieve what they are setting out to achieve. Now, some of the time with haters as well, they may genuinely be doing this with good intentions. And I've had this before quite a few times. I've had people talking about my work and saying that I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing because they genuinely care about other people. Now, this may come across towards me as they're attacking me. And the human in me initially wants to bite back and say, well, this is why this. But then the therapist and the coach within me and the spiritual being within me always wants to figure out why they feel this way. And I feel like that's a very powerful thing to do. Now, you have a few things you can do with haters. One is just completely ignore them. If you know what you're doing is right, if you are doing it for a good reason, you're trying to help more people, then just ignore them. I don't necessarily just ignore them. It depends what type of hater they are, because I like to really understand. I like to learn as well. I'm not the wisest person. I like what Joe Dispenza says, from my current state of ignorance. So I'd always like to learn and listen to what other people have to say. So recently I've had someone comment telling me about all my work, that it's not good, that I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. And as I said, initially my reaction was I wanted to fight back initially. Now, what I came to terms with was realizing, why is this person saying this? And this is where I just started to ask questions. Do you know about me? Do you know about my work? No. Do you know what it is that I do? No. Do you know my qualifications? No. Do you know how long I've been doing this? No. Do you know my background? No. And it made sense that he was making a judgment, which again, that's okay, because he was doing it out of a good place. But it made sense that he was trying to make a judgment because he didn't want other people to feel pain, which I totally understand. What this came to help me realize was, okay, maybe there are a few things that I can change. And this is the way that I believe the universe works in our favor, to say, here's some encouragement. Here's some encouragement. If we don't take on that encouragement, then something worse is going to happen down the line. So that's made me rethink in some things. Now, does that mean that what I'm doing is wrong? Not at all. Because I know I'm capable of doing exactly what I say I can do. If I don't believe I can help someone, then I won't help them. Straight and simple. If I believe I can help someone, then I will help someone. If I believe I can get them to where they want to be and I can provide a service, then I'm able to help them. And one of the questions I actually asked this person, he basically said, well, you're not getting people the results that they want, therefore you are preying on vulnerable people. And I said, would it make sense for... I didn't say exactly this, but I'll tell you exactly what I said. Would it make sense if you went to Starbucks and you ordered a coffee and you got a coffee? Would it make sense for you to be compensated for that coffee? The answer is yes. You don't just get stuff for free in life. Would it make sense if someone asked me to help them with something and I get them that result? Would it make sense for them to compensate me and pay me? The answer is yes. So this is where it made me realize, and that's what I said. If I help them get to a result they want to get to, it makes sense that I deserve to be paid for my services, correct? And this actually helped me out a lot as well, as much as it did. So these situations, they're here to help us. They're here to help us grow. And this is how I have used hate in my past. And I've had many people hate on me, and there's some that like talk about like complete like random stuff, and a lot of the time I just ignore them. When someone tries to really offend me and really tear me down and really bring my business down, this is where I like to understand, because I don't want my reputation to be tarnished, which, as most people can say, is very understandable. So the long and short of it really is, if you have people hating on you, one, you can ignore them. Two, you can understand where they're coming from. And three, make relevant shifts. If what they're saying is true, then we have to be okay with that, and we have to say, okay, now if what they're saying isn't true, then this is where we can maybe slightly adjust. Maybe we can change something we're doing, but also realize that it is okay to have people not like you. Because for every one person that doesn't like you, there's 10 that you inspire. For every one person that hates you, there's going to be people that love you. And a great example is, I've seen people go up to famous people and they're trying to have a little joke, and what they do is they go to shake their hand or something, and then they sort of psych or something like that, or they ask for their football shirt and then they don't take it or something like that, and they try and punk the famous person. Now, initially, understandably, any person, whether you're famous, whether you're whatever, like, you're going to naturally be a bit butthurt by that, which is understandable. So the human in anyone that wants to react to hate is totally normal. So if you feel like you want to react, don't feel bad for wanting to react, or don't even feel bad for reacting. But if you do react, then it's about realizing and taking the right precautions to make sure that you don't offend anyone, to make sure that you don't hurt anyone. Because at the end of the day, people are only going to come at you with their level of consciousness. And if their level of consciousness is down here versus up here, there's going to be a completely different conversation, which is, again, understandable. So as I said, sort of coming full circle, if you know what you're doing is the right thing, and what you're doing is there to help people, or what you're doing is a good service, or you're genuinely enjoying what you're doing, then don't let those who are hating on you tear you down, because they're coming from their state of consciousness and you're coming from yours. If they're coming at you with anger, that shows how they feel inside. Because if you squeeze an orange, you're going to get orange juice. If you squeeze a lemon, you're going to get lemon juice. If you squeeze someone or rub someone out the wrong way that has a lot of anger within them, you're going to get anger. And it doesn't necessarily mean what you did is wrong, but how they perceived what you did is wrong, if that makes sense. Because perception is everything. Because an opinion's opinion, it's not a fact. And again, I've had people, and this guy was telling me that all the stuff that I do was debunked. And I was like, but if something works and has worked repetitively, is that not what science is? For something to be termed scientific, a method of inquiry must be based on a gathering of observation and measurable evidence subject to the specific principles of reasoning and experimentation. So, this person was saying about and again, I'm generally don't want anyone to go and find this guy or whatever he said, because he was doing it from a place of he didn't want to see people hurt, which I completely understand. He didn't understand like the capability I have and what I do and how I can help people. But he was saying that a lot of my stuff was debunked. NLP was debunked. When you look at NLP, what is NLP? It's a variety of different therapies combined into one to create NLP. So going off the back, he said hypnotherapy was credible. And whether it is, whether it's not, I don't care. I know it works. I know NLP works. I know chakra healing works. I know energy work works. So regardless whether someone thinks it's been debunked or not, I'm going to use it because I've seen it work with myself. I've seen it work with other people. And I've seen it work with people who even I haven't worked with other people that practice this kind of work. And he was saying that, as I said, he said NLP is debunked when all these different therapies are tried and tested. So it can't physically be debunked because all these therapies are tried and tested. And then even down to things like chakras, he said they were debunked. And it made me laugh because, again, it comes from someone's state of current ignorance. And not saying he is ignorant, but from a current state of ignorance, where we need to get all the information before we make a judgment, which I totally agree with. It doesn't make sense to listen to half a story before actually making a judgment. Well, I think we should make a judgment anyway, regardless. But, past the point. If I know I can get someone results, if I have helped people release a lot of their pain in their past, if I know I can help people release anything that I went through, from anxiety to trauma to fear to pain to struggles to stress to worry to doubt, all those kind of things, to blocks to abundance, to receiving abundance, to being confident, to being happy, to being healthy, all these kind of things, then I know what I'm doing isn't wrong. But there's something that clearly has made me think about this, that has said, okay, what can I do that can slightly change up the way I approach things, which is okay. Sometimes we have to admit that maybe we're doing something slightly differently and potentially slightly wrong. Now, do I believe what I've been doing is wrong? Not at all. Not one bit. People come to me, I help them get the result they want, they pay me. Is that wrong? Not at all. I know that's totally right. That's exactly the right thing to do. So do I feel like I should stop what I'm doing? No, because I love what I do and I love helping people. I love seeing these changes in people's lives. But also, does that mean if I completely ignored what someone said and thought I was the best at everything I do, that is a state of ignorance. And I definitely don't want to be ignorant. And I do believe one of my personal goals is to be an extremely humble person. So it would make sense for me to assess it, address it, and make some shifts. And if I have to make the shift. So will there be some shifts in my work? Potentially there will. I'm going to approach it in the right way, and I'm going to see what will be the best approach for me to get the best outcome for myself and for other people. But just go back to remembering this. If someone's hating on you, they're coming from a level of consciousness, and you're at your level of consciousness. What they think is an opinion versus what is a real fact. Now, as I said, if you want to work with me, you have the choice to work with me. If you don't want to work with me, you have the choice not to work with me. That's it. If you know I'm the person to help you get the results, come and work with me. If you don't think I'm the person to help you get results, don't work with me. It's very simple. So that's how I personally deal with people who hate on my stuff. That's how I personally allow myself to move forward. Is sometimes we have to be honest and say, okay, what is it I need to change in order to reduce this? If I do need to change anything, because not necessarily all the time we do. Should I ignore it? Should I address it? When we address it, then we can start to question, and then we can start to take a new road, take a new approach. And that's really how we can make these shifts in our life. So with that being said, I hope you have an amazing day. Keep spreading love, keep spreading kindness, and so much positivity.